around the soccer down here. Let me just share. Kind of like at the top of my head, I don't necessarily want that. So, bases dropped Tuesday, which means it's Tuesday thoughts. And this, once again, as always, it's Tuesday thoughts about anything that's on your mind. There is nothing that is off the table. Everything's on the table, including the opening kickoff that I have this morning. It's again brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee, kickoffcoffeeco.com. And let's see, the show in and of itself today, Jared will be coming up here in just a little bit, and we will go over, we've got a midweek Whiparound, which will end hour number one. We've got a handful of games today. We've got a handful of games tomorrow, and we'll get you ready for Atlanta and Orlando, as Greg Garza refers to it. So we will do that. We'll get you ready for that tomorrow. We've got a lot of action today that we can run through, and we'll run through all of that as well. But opening kickoff, once again, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee, kickoffcoffeeco.com. Once again, here we go. And I know, Bam, you're right on. I've got to figure out how to do the QR code deal and kind of zip the QR code over to like, this particular section of the screen to my low left, your right as you're watching. But biggest biggest thing once again for our friends at Kickoff Coffee, Kickoff Coffee CO. There's your QR code. I know I've got to work on that. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for our friends at Kickoff Coffee. There's a lot of folks that dig Kickoff Coffee, and thank you for being a part of their continued growth as well. Don't forget, use the code Soccer down here 15. Morning, Sean. We're getting closer to talking about hockey, and I know that your Florida Panthers will be a part of the discussion as we get closer to the hockey season. Soccer down here 15 gives you 15% off. I'm sounding muffled again. Might take a little while for this thing to warm up. Or it might take a little while. Let me turn up some volume here, something like that. It's a good question. I know it's weird, Abby. It's really weird, and uh, happened yesterday, and I don't know what it is. It might be the software, but happened yesterday when I was playing some sound, and it took a while for things to kind of get the full song. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on as we go. But all right, so we mentioned Soccer Down Here 15% off your friends at Kickoff Coffee. And don't forget, they take 10% of their proceeds and reinvest it into the youth game. So we'll see what happens there. No, Jason, I think Sean is on his way to Orlando to take care of things with Orlando and Atlanta. That's tomorrow. Yes, it is Taco Tuesday. All right, so here is the question this morning for all of you. That is part of the opening kickoff this morning. How many different chargers do you have for your devices? How many different chargers? And I'm talking computer, I'm talking cell phone, I'm talking all of those kinds of things. How many different chargers do you have? Yes, I'm not surprised. I'm right there with you. The reason that I ask is because I'm getting to the point where it seems that I'm going to have chargers for every device in every level of the house and in my travel bag. Uh, Full disclosure, this morning we're in the 100 days here at Office HD. The boss is on the road pretty much 3-4 days a week. She's doing recruiting for her work. And so she goes to various college campuses and catches up with folks that hopefully will come and work with her in the future. But she texted me this morning, and I will say this. She texted. Let's see. She got up about 4:30 and left the house to go to the airport about 6 a.m. About 6:45, she texts me and she goes that she forgot her phone charger and she was going to have to buy one at the airport. At the airport Apple store or whatever the equivalent is at Hartsfield Jackson because she left her charger here at the house. She is not as messed up and hard up as I am when it comes to chargers because I have gotten to the point to where phone chargers, I have one in the bedroom. I have one here at the desk in the office, and I have one in my travel bag just to cover pretty much anything and everything. And then with the computer, I am now to the point to where I have to have the same setup. I have a backup charger here in the office because my primary got lost at Mercedes-Benz this weekend. And I imagine it was walked away because when Beth Keener and I do the halftime report, we are in the press conference room, and it's an elaborate setup for me to charge into the wall and these kinds of things. So I've had to order yet another charger for my computer, and hopefully it will work because I'm guessing that the name of the computer is what is here on the base of the computer in and of itself. So I'm hoping that I got the right charger, the one that I currently have. And okay, so all right, Bam, I will do that when it comes to settings. I got to figure out what settings are. So I will do that when it comes to all right. So audio settings in StreamYard and see if your echo cancellation is ticked. So I'll do that. Bam, yeah, Bam. When I'm off the air today, I will I will work that, and then that way I will see what's going on. I don't know why it would. I don't know why it would be that way. I honestly don't because I haven't touched anything. I legitimately have not touched it. I don't know what's going on. All right, so audio, I will do that. Echo cancellation is ticked. Yes, it is. Stereo audio, echo cancellation must be off, must use stereo audio, and automatically adjust mic volume. So echo cancellation and automatically adjust mic volume are ticked. They have the blue check. So um, I'm sure that it's just something incredibly silly, moody, and whatever. But yeah, so now I'm to the point where I have three chargers for both my computer and for my phone. So I just wanted to check and see how many chargers you guys had that are readily accessible on a daily basis. So, Sean, you got 50. You got 100 other miscellaneous cables, three drawers full. I'm right there with you. FC currently seeking his second phone charger option. Abby, chargers in different places. Phone charger in three rooms, in the Abstromobile in the backpack, computer charger in the office in the backpack, but you also keep the power bank in the backpack and have extension cords in the backpack that has USB outlets. Okay. Emilio's got 10 or 12. Abby, I know it's weird. So, yeah, it's weird. It's got to be something, probably something in settings or something like that. But it would probably take one click and then it gets fixed. But yesterday it was weird when I was playing sound. It would take a little while for everything to come back. So maybe after the music, maybe it's something with the music level, and it takes another 45 seconds. Because when I was cutting the show up yesterday, it was muffled for about 45 seconds after I played sound, and then it came back to normal, and I don't know why. Okay, Sean, you want me to buy that for the boss? I can probably do that. I will forward that to her. And you got another one. Okay. Jesse's got two. All right. So 2/3 seems to be the norm. So I just want to make sure that I was not completely and totally out in left field for having all of the different chargers that I have in all the different locations because I seem to be forgetting them all over the place. So that was why. That's why I was asking how many chargers you guys have, just to make sure that I was not alone in the process. So that's your opening kickoff. Brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee, kickoffcoffeeco.com. And once again, as I turn to my right and turn, hey, there you go. And there's your QR code, and I know that, bam, I've got to figure out how to get it down here. And that's technology. Lord knows when that'll happen. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Kickoff Coffee CO. You can follow along with them there and do it with Kickoff Coffee. Once again, use the code Soccer Down here 15% off of your purchase when it comes to Kickoff Coffee, and then they turn around 10% and go into youth initiatives. Very very cool stuff from our friends at Kickoff Coffee. A couple of things. Once again, we're waiting for Jared to come in, and Jared will be with us when he does jump in. He'll be with us for the remainder of the first hour, and then we'll go into all of the previewy stuff around the world for the second hour. But once again, team of the week and this should not have been any surprise whatsoever. Team of the week for uh, Major League Soccer that came out yesterday afternoon. Let's see. Up front, Brenner, Raul Diaz, Ferreira from Dallas, Jesus Ferreira, your midfielder, Puig, Wanyama from Montreal, Lucho Acosta, Thiago Almada, and you had Elliott, Purata, and Yamar with Ivacic in goal. Your coach, Jim Kirk from Philly, your bench, Ochoa from DC, Melander from Charlotte, Kai Wagner, Leyva from Seattle, Caceres, Duran, and Sardis. So that's your team of the week for week 30. No surprise that Thiago Almada and Juanjo Purata were a part of that. Once again, keep voting for goal of the week. You know what to do. Goal of the week is out there, so keep voting and voting and voting. And let's see, when's the deadline to continue to vote for this? Cast your vote. When you tell me when it's done? September 12th, or was it yesterday? Who scored the goal of the week? We know the goal of the week. Okay. So was it yesterday? Okay. So maybe I missed it, but you guys knew what to do in that regard. Uh, let's see. How did the promo go? It was great. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Center for Hard to Recycle Materials in Grant Park. Okay. Uh, I got this one, which makes it easier for different phones. Keep that stuff coming in because I'm definitely going to need help, and I'm probably going to have to be reminded about it too. So, yeah, so that's definitely something that we look at here. So, goal of the week, Monday, September 12th. There's Jarrett. So, hang on just a second. Okay, so it says cast the vote, and I guess we're just waiting for hopefully all of the 17s to sit there and say, yes, we voted as we should have, and did it that way. So we welcome in Jared Smith. And first and foremost, sir, are you feeling better?
Yes.
Yeah, Sean, yeah, sounds normal. I think we're trying to diagnose another audio problem, and it happened yesterday. And the thing is that I've touched nothing. Except when I play audio, apparently I go messed up for about 45 seconds before everything comes back into play. So who knows? But it might be some kind of internal setting that I didn't touch, and so of course I've screwed things up by not touching anything, which is about par for the course. So that's where we are, Jared. Good morning.
Well, good morning, I guess.
All right. So since you were not here yesterday, let's go back over the weekend and what your initial thoughts were, and I guess now that you've had the chance to kind of hang loose for an extra day about the win for Atlanta United over Toronto, what were your thoughts on that?
Have you ever seen the meme of the meme of the Grim Reaper, where it's going like room to room and there's just a trail of blood in every room as he
Yes.
goes?
Uh-huh.
That's kind of what I'm hoping Atlanta does here, the rest of the way to everyone else's playoff hopes. Because if you can't make it, the second best thing you can do is make everyone else miserable.
Well, that reminds me of the Calvin and Hobbes cartoon with where Calvin is where Calvin's in a bad mood and he just has that look on his face, and then he's just he's crabby to everybody else, and because everybody else around him that is in his circle is, they're happy until Calvin interacts with them, and then they turn into bad moods because Calvin's in a bad mood, and then in the last frame Calvin admits that there's nothing better when you're in a bad mood than sharing that you're in a bad mood, and you get that evil Calvin grin from him in that regard. So that was what it reminded me of.
Yeah, it was if you can't make it, torpedo everyone else in the process.
Yes.
I mean, it's a selfish mentality, but why should they be happy when I can also bring them down into my misery? Because you kind of did that to Toronto, who, look, Toronto added all those attacking pieces, and we talked about it. Like, Toronto's going to be fun as a neutral watch because they're going to score, but they can't really stop anyone. And I'm almost feeling like I need to do a mea culpa to Columbus.
Oh?
Because, man, I ragged on Columbus when Atlanta abused them on set pieces last month.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was more Atlanta than being good at this than Columbus being bad. Now, like Atlanta wasn't reinventing the wheel on set pieces, but they were executing. The ball delivery from Brooks Lennon and Thiago Amato was fantastic on set pieces. And I think I did not give them enough credit because I was so like perplexed at Columbus being so bad at it
Yeah.
that I don't think I gave Atlanta enough credit for good execution on set pieces, which is weird now because now we're in this like quasi Nashvilleian like twilight zone where what's Atlanta going to do to be successful here at the end of the year? A transformative number 10 and set pieces. Cool. So basically, we have Thiago Almada playing the role of a different version of Hani Mukhtar. Not to compare them, because Hani Mukhtar's decided to snatch that MVP trophy away from Sebastian Juicy,
Mm-hmm.
but then Parata is basically turned into Walker Zimmerman. Or for those of you with a taste for the history of SDH back to Peachtree Post days, he's gone full Forrest Lasso when Forrest
Yes.
Lasso was in Charleston and like scoring a header every 2 games. Actually, he
Yes.
scored one against Atlanta in the U.S. Open Cup back in 2018, 2017, 2018, one of those 2 years. Forrest Lasso scored a header against Atlanta United. He's playing, I think, in Sweden now or Denmark or Norway. He's playing in Scandinavia, but yeah, Forrest Lasso was like a 6'6" giant center back who was much quicker over 5 yards. He had tight end tendencies. He had that
Yes.
quickness over 5 yards, or he could break off of somebody man marking him, and he was so good at redirecting headers. Um, but yeah, I'm starting to think I didn't give Atlanta enough credit and ragged on Columbus too much. Also, Toronto is terrible defending set pieces and defending in general. Um, you have put Toronto behind the 8 ball. You have a chance to screw with Orlando, and we'll see what Orlando looks like. But I don't. This is what I wanted to see though. There's still stuff to clean up, but it's what I wanted to see, which was show me fight because you are in such a you're mathematically alive for the playoffs. I don't think you'll be able to get there because of the way the schedule breaks for you. But you're showing fight, and I'm very happy to see that. And it's great for guys to show what they can or can't do before the end of the year, so you can get an idea of who needs to be part of this project next year, and who needs to be part of a different project.
Uh, Forrest Lasso update. He signed in January with GIF Sundsvall in Sweden, and they won the Superettan in 21, and they signed him ahead of their promotion to the top flight. So he is in the top flight. He's on the roster with GIF Sundsvall in Sweden. So that's your Forrest Lasso update for the morning.
Oh yes, and yeah, because okay, so I'll quick hit this as well because of the missed penalty by Luis Araujo. Because I saw somebody mention it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Who was Abster talking about like Almada should take PKs instead of with Joseph's not on the pitch. That was a really good question because when it happened, you're like, oh, a penalty. Wait, who the hell's going to take this? Because
Yeah.
Joseph takes them full stop because Joseph has been nails his entire career here. Marcelino Moreno's been that other guy. Marcelino Moreno's been, I think he has one or two, he had the miss earlier this year against Cincinnati, where Alec Khan did like basically just got possessed for 90 minutes before he got Wally pipped out of the starting job.
Right.
But it's very weird. Like I wasn't sure who was going to take it, and I'm curious if Almada is the guy or not. Because here I have two thoughts about this. One, I don't know if Amada's the guy or not. I wonder if he is the one where, he is the one designated to take it, and if so, then I completely understand him handing the ball to Luis Araujo
Mm-hmm.
because this is the same thing. I go back to 2018 where Atlanta they were beating the dog out of 2018. Yeah, it was 2018. They were beating the dog out of somebody, and they had an attacking sequence late in the game, and Joseph passes up a golden opportunity for a goal and lays off to Miguel Almiron, who scores from just outside the box. And it was one of those things where you need to make sure Almiron's going. You need to make sure Joe. Like it's 2018. Joseph was going to be Joseph. It was one of the greatest individual seasons we've ever seen. Um, but if that was his decision to give it to Louise, I like it in that moment, and it is a double-edged sword because if he doesn't hit it, which he didn't, then you worry about him going even further down the black hole of
Well,
struggling. And
I
I felt like he bounced back from it pretty. He had some good moments after that in the game, coincidentally. But if he does get it, that could have been what it could have kick-started him. So if that came down to Thiago handing him the ball of his own volition, saying, "You take this, you get going, you get us going," I like the idea of it, even though it didn't work, because yeah, you need him to get going and to have that confidence he had last year.
looked at, I mean, and you look at the PK that Luis took, and one of the things that I always look at, and of course I look at it, we always have the benefit of replay, is where the plant foot's aimed and what the action is subsequent to that. It's almost like a kicker in college football or pro football, and where the ball is going to go when you're trying to kick a field goal or a kickoff or what have you. If you look at the plant foot, that's the direction that the ball is going to go unless you do something harsh with your hips on the follow through. Luis's plant foot was aimed at it wasn't a 45-degree angle, but it's like a 15-degree angle off and open, and it was easy for Westberg to determine that it was going to go in that direction. Westberg guessed low. Luis was pointed that way, so it was an easier save than normal, I thought, for someone like Quentin Westberg, because it was easy to look at when it came to direction and where it was heading from Luis Araujo.
Man, Quentin Westberg deserved a lot of credit for that game because he's the reason it wasn't 7-2. Um, he made a couple of saves in that game that were fantastic, and not even just good saves, but he did a great job of making saves and then either hanging onto the ball or pushing it to non-dangerous positions. Right before Atlanta gets their last goal, Amada gets that shot away that Westberg deflects, but he doesn't deflect it right back to his feet. He deflects it out for a corner. Then that's an issue with Toronto not defending set pieces, but he's able to deflect it out for a corner. Luis fires that rocket in the first half. He catches it. He doesn't let it deflect or bounce back into a dangerous area. Man, he was really good Saturday night in between the pipes for Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wanted to see what kind of fight. Well, how much. If we pull up the X-ray, how much dog is in them? And they showed fight in that game. They showed fight against a team that they've got a history with. Now they have to go to Orlando and show fight against a team that they have history with, against a team that picked up its first trophy. They got a little punch drunk, I think, after that, because when they went to Philadelphia and got absolutely demolished, like they held on as long as they could. Then once the floodgates opened, opened, and they stayed open. I'm very interested to see what Orlando looks like in that game, because Orlando has been so up and down this year.
Yeah, and
it'll be weird.
Yeah, no question about it. And you've got the Airborne DJ's with us this morning, and he says, OFY, I was way fired up for this match from what I've seen on the Bird app. Quote, we get to ruin ATL's season, end quote,
Yeah,
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely. Et cetera. That is exactly, and he's right. That's exactly it. If you're Orlando, you get to be the one to drive the nail in the coffin. I think officially, depending on how the results go.
Right.
That could be the official nail in the coffin. If Orlando can't get up for that, then Oscar Pereira's got bigger problems in his life, because that should be their chief motive. Like, aside from making sure you stay in the playoff picture where you want to be, so you're playing a favorable playoff matchup, that should be one of, if not your chief motivations, is, hey, our rival, we get to potentially officially end their season. That's absolutely something worth getting up for.
Yeah.
Also, if the shoe was on the other foot, that's what we would be talking about constantly is, Atlanta gets to end Orlando's season.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a dream for a rival.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely right, Airborne.
And you look at the East, and right now, Bam is requesting that Atlanta do his LAFC team a favor, considering that LAFC, having lost 4 of 5, is 3 points behind Philadelphia in Supporters Shield. So he's hoping that Atlanta on the weekend, after playing Orlando in the midweek, can do his LAFC a favor and slow down Philadelphia for a little bit.
That game, man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what Wednesday night holds first, because, man, that could get really ugly and really weird really quickly. if Atlanta is out of it completely, like officially out of it,
Right.
and I know they'll keep fighting, they might physically fight
I was
Saturday.
going to say, you mean literally?
They might literally fight Saturday because if it's, hey, we can't make the playoffs anymore, and Philadelphia, and Jim Curtin said after the Orlando game, if y'all want to play, we can play. If y'all want to fight, we can fight. Man,
Okay.
Saturday, if Jose Martinez wants to go Saturday night, you might have some guy. Look, you don't fight people with nothing to lose.
Yeah.
That should be a chief rule in life. Saturday nights, depending on how how the midweek goes, Saturday night could be very messy. Like,
Yeah,
you
Saturday
could
night's
see
all
a
right for
slew of
fighting.
cards, some sending offs, coaches arguing and yelling again. Um, like this could be Saturday could be really weird. It could be some if y'all have watched Shorzy, it could be the third period of the last game of Shorzy of we're just gonna run them up.
No doubt.
We're gonna clear the way for the gyms.
Yes. Sam, don't know. Your is the short answer about Joseph starting, or is he still in timeout and bench for the whole game? Don't know. And when we get closer, we'll have an answer. But the way things are right now, from the weekend that was, and we'll kind of get into it a little bit today with you, and then again with Dylan again tomorrow. Montreal and Crew had a draw. Charlotte got the goal against NYC. NYC, I'm looking at them and I'm like,
They can mathematically miss the playoffs, by the way.
Yeah.
Sam Jones played out and went through the numbers. They can mathematically miss the playoffs. It feels possible, like 20, like Braves Red Sox playoff, like run up to the playoffs choke in 2010, kind of possible.
Nashville and the Galaxy drew at 1. Red Bulls beat Revs. Shooter was on the show yesterday. He was in the Twitch pitch yesterday, Jarrett. Shooter was a house of fire yesterday after the Revs lost. I know that's not a surprise. Philadelphia, we talked about them putting 5 on the board against Orlando. What happened to your Quakes?
I think they are running out of gas completely.
Okay.
Honestly, I think they're just pretty much out of gas this season. They've had some really fun games late. Unless they're playing LAFC or the Galaxy, I don't think they're maxing out. The restrictor plate isn't really necessary for the other games, and Cincinnati needed that more than anybody.
Since he got 6 on the board, that'll help with goals scored. But since that's not the first tiebreaker, it could have been 1-0 and it would have mattered just as much. Seattle put 3 on the board, beating Austin. And Austin, the warning light might be coming up on the dashboard a little bit for Austin FC. Fire beat Inter Miami 3-1. Houston, Sporting, RSL, and DC were goalless draws. FC Dallas beats LAFC by the score of 2-1. FC Dallas will not be with Alan Velasco for, I think, the next month. Colorado over Vancouver 3-1. Portland over Minnesota by the score of 1-0. Once again, we don't know which Minnesota team we're going to get on a daily basis. And they got the one in Portland that loses. So looking at how things are, once again, Eastern Conference, heading into tonight, and then probably we'll do this again, updating it tomorrow. Philadelphia 10 clear of Montreal. Montreal 3 clear of Red Bulls. That gets us to third. Red Bulls have 50 points. NYC has lost 4 of 5. Let's look at form for NYC here. In their last 10, NYC, worst in the East, 1 win in 10, 7 losses. In their last 15, we'll go back another. Then it was they won 4 of 5 heading into this stretch of 10 where they've only won once in their last 10. 1 win, 7 losses, 2 draws in their last 10. And that's what has NYC right now flopping about right now. But they have a 4-point cushion, but Orlando City has 2 matches in hand. And you have Orlando City at 42. 4-game win streak snapped last time out. Cincinnati's at 42, two fewer wins, 1 more match played. Crew at 41, Revs at 38. Inter Miami have lost 3 in a row. They have 10 wins at 36. Atlanta United has 9 wins at 36. Charlotte's at 35 with 11 wins, 9 wins for the Fire at 35. Toronto 9 wins and 34. So that's the East heading into tonight and tomorrow, Jared.
Yeah, and yes, Kefsi, the Church of Tati is in flames right
Oof.
now.
Oh, brother.
Tati, well, look, we talked about this. Tati went on a mission trip. He went to enlighten the people in Europe,
That's true.
and I appreciate that. Hopefully, he does not bring disease like when the Europeans came to the New World. I am eternally grateful for him spreading the gospel of Tati. It is unfortunate that in his absence, NYC has fallen into anarchy. Some of this is because Bishop Ronnie Dyla also had to depart.
That is true.
And
Yes, he went to yet another church.
yeah, everybody got really sideways about that hiring in the first place. And then he went out, won a cup, stripped down, had him in really good shape for this year, and then left. And seems like he wasn't the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a side note, Brighton, if you touch on Postacoglu, I will come across the sea and I will beat you within an inch of your life.
Oh,
Do not
brother.
touch my Australian king.
Woo, boy.
You could have him in like 2 years, but give me more time to enjoy what he has built, because I am horrified that if he goes, the next move is going to be Daisen Maeda and Kyogo Furuhashi going down to Brighton.
Uh-huh.
Because then you have also taken away my second favorite joy, which is listening to Scottish announcers try and pronounce the names Maeda, Kyogo,
Mm-hmm.
and Reo Hatate. Because Scottish pronunciations of Japanese names is a blessing. It is an act of God that they ever got Nakamura off their tongues in one bit.
Yes.
But back to New York City, it is mathematically possible for them to miss the playoffs, and it would be genuinely hilarious if it happened. They have a lot of problems. The Church of Tati weeps for their their original building.
Bam says that Ange won't leave Celtic. He has a vision. And then Sam Williamson says, Rogers back to Celtic.
Sam, you're fired.
Oh, brother.
I love everything about what he is doing. He can lose. I don't remember the last time I watched them lose 3-0 in a European game and went, you know what? That was okay.
Mm-hmm.
They got outclassed by Eden Hazard and
when was the last time you said that?
And got outclassed by Luka Modric, who is gonna go down as somehow one of the best midfielders of his generation, and also one of the most underrated. Somehow, I feel like. Exactly. I feel like he's still gonna be underrated when we talk about him in the future.
Yeah.
You got outclassed by those guys. You controlled the game for 45 minutes, and then two phenomenal players outclassed you.
Yes,
it sucks, but I can stomach it a little bit, because at least you went down. You went down fighting. You didn't go down cowering in the gutters. Let's see. Look at the rest of the East. Yeah, man. So to DJ's point, Airborne DJ's point.
Mm-hmm.
Orlando could end Atlanta's season for all intents and purposes. It's pretty much over already, because you're mathematically alive, but you're
right.
you're asking a lot.
Yes.
If you're Atlanta. But Orlando also could really turn the screw on New York City. The same as Cincinnati.
No doubt.
You get this down to, you want to talk about, actually, let's play this all the way out.
Sure.
You know who New York City's decision day game is with?
I believe last time I checked, that would be with Atlanta United, sir.
Oh, buddy. Give me the opportunity to complete New York City's collapse on decision day.
There you go.
That's really all I ask. Put that on the foot of Thiago Almada and the head of Juan Hoparata.
Uh-huh.
Please give me that opportunity. Allow me the opportunity to end your season, New York City, in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Because again, if I can't be happy, I'll make sure you can't either.
Exactly. I believe it's time for first edition of the Midweek Whiparound, sir.
Okay, let's do it.
We have 5 games today. We have 4 more tomorrow. Well, the one tomorrow is the one that involves Atlanta United going to Orlando, and right now they are a decided underdog. Not a surprise, considering that 2 out of every 7 games are won by the road team this season in Major League Soccer. So CF Montreal and Chicago Fire at 7:30. CF Montreal, soon to be Impact, probably, hopefully, maybe, is a minus 182. Your draws a plus 328. And the Chicago Fire are a plus 462 in the composite. BetMGM has them at a plus 4.25. Normal TV start time, so 7:38. Local on both sides. Fun facts. CF Montreal's won each of their last 3 matches against the Chicago Fire, keeping clean sheets in all 3, including a 2-0 win back on August 27. It's the only time in the club's MLS history that Montreal has recorded 3 straight shutout wins over a single opponent. CF Montreal overcame a 2-0 deficit to draw 2-2 with Columbus back on Friday, scoring in the 89th and the 94th. Montreal became the 12th team in MLS history to earn a point in a match in which they trailed by multiple goals entering the 89th minute, and the first since RSL against Portland in August of 2020. Fire have lost only one of their last 5 road games, winning 2, drawing 2, including playing scoreless draws in each of the last 2 away from home. Chicago last kept 3 straight road clean sheets in April and May of 2008. Kai Kamara scored 11 regular season goals against the Fire, tied for his most against any opponent. Only Jeff Cunningham with 20 and Taylor Twellman with 12 have scored more against the Fire in the regular season. Jean Durand scored twice in the Fire's 3-1 win over Miami on Saturday, second brace of the season, along with Kasper Shabilko's 2 braces in 22. The Fire have 4 multi-goal games by players this season, equaling their total from the last 2 seasons combined. What say you, Jared Smith?
You just said a lot of words just to hear me say Montreal straight up.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That minus 182 at home, that one to me is, that's how I'm looking at it. It's like, one of the toughest places to play. You've seen Atlanta United play there. You know what Stade Saputo is like. Very, very pretty. Very,
Stade
very
Saputo
tough.
is a fortress these days, and guess what? I promise none of y'all want to go play in Stade. Y'all don't want to go play in Montreal in late fall because that's what's lining up right now. If the fates line it up as like Montreal versus Philadelphia, that could be a lot of fun. I promise none of y'all want to go to Montreal in the late fall. It's
No.
cold.
Mm-hmm. Tis true.
It's loud. It's French.
Yeah. Yes. And there's a bell. There's a rather large.
It's Canadian French. It's not straight French. It's Canadian French.
Yeah, and that's
You ain't ready?
That's a whole different kind of anger.
Yeah, it's a different French.
Yes,
and
it is.
they're getting the impact back.
Uh-huh.
Like they're feeling good about life.
Yeah.
Please don't go fight Montreal.
No. 2 at 8 o'clock. Inter Miami hosting the Crew at DRVP and K in the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal. Inter Miami's a plus 127. Your draws a plus 238. Crew are a plus 209. 808 normal kick.
No.
No?
I don't. Oh my God, I don't know how to feel about this game.
So then just say draw and get it over with.
I mean, I guess but I feel like somebody's going to win this game, and I feel like it's Columbus because I feel like Miami's kind of running out of steam here.
Yeah.
But I don't feel good about it. I want something weird to happen so that Caleb Porter can keep yelling about officials because this man at halftime of the last game was like, I don't know if this ref is Canadian or something.
That was pleasant.
It was hilarious because then he got a 2-goal lead and then blew it late in the game. Montreal lives a dangerous life sometimes, but I'm very entertained by the concept of Columbus choking away leads because I like seeing Caleb Porter be sad.
Yes.
In the same way that you like, I like the same way you like seeing Jimbo Fisher be sad.
Yes, the quitter. I like the quitter being sad and or angry. Sam Williamson, by the way, says he goes to Montreal if he can bring Wayne from Letterkenny to come with him in that particular instance. Information for fun facts. Home sides won all 3. Miami won the first ever meeting 1-0 last September. Crew won the 2 since, both in Columbus by a combined score of 5-0. Inter Miami returns home after 3 straight road losses since the beginning of May. Only Atlanta United has fewer road points than Miami, 6, having lost 7 and 11. Only 7 teams have more points than the Herons at home, 20, winning 6, drawing 2, and losing 1. Crew's 2-2 draw extended their unbeaten run to 8, one shy of the club record of 9, set back in 2004. Columbus has managed just 3 wins in those games, however, drawing 5, despite leading at some point in 6 of the 8. Gonzalo Higuain scored in yet another game for Miami that they failed to win, winning just 1 of the 8 games in which he has scored. I guess the lesson is Gonzalo Higuain don't score. They've lost 5 of them. Miami's averaging 0.63 points per match when Higuain scores, so 5 in 8 on average, lowest in Major League Soccer among players who've scored in at least 5 games this season. Lucas Del Rayon scored his 9th goal of 22 on Friday to go along with 10 assists. 1 goal away from being the 3rd player in crew history with 10 and 10 since Jeff Cunningham in 2000 and Ethan Finley in 2015. I'm going to go with Inter Miami in this one. I think they're going to pull it out at home. And besides, if we're looking for chaos and we don't want folks to pull away in the playoff spots, you need Inter Miami to do something. So I think they break the 3-game win streak. They go to 39 points. Columbus continues to yell at officials. Also on the board at 8 o'clock, and I think that we all know that the reason it's at 8 o'clock at DRVP&K is to get through the thunderstorms. Minnesota United hosting LAFC. Minnesota United plus 2.25. Draws plus 286. LAFC is a plus 104 in the composite. Fun facts. Normal kick, local TV both sides, so it's 8:08 Eastern time. LAFC ended a 5-match winless run against Minnesota with a 2-0 home win May 1st. LAFC's never won in Minnesota. One of the two opponents, the black and gold, and I just have Mark Rogandino in my head, have visited 3 or more times and never won. They are 0-2-5 at LAG down the road. Minnesota's on their 3rd 3-match losing streak of the season, though this time it hasn't scored in any of those games. First time in club history, Minnesota's lost 3 straight without scoring in any of them. LAFC dropped points from a winning position for the first time this season, losing 2-1 at Dallas after scoring first. LAFC won the previous 20, in which they led at any 1 point, one shy of the MLS record of 21 set by Seattle in 2011-2012. Minnesota attempted 21 shots in their 1-0 loss at Portland, equaling the 2nd most shots the Loons have taken in a match without scoring. They took 24 in a scoreless draw with Sporting back in August of 21. Chicho Arango scored LAFC's lone goal against Dallas on Saturday, 4th straight game with a goal, 4th time he scored at least 4 straight games in his career in MLS. Since his debut last August, Chicho Arango scored in the league high 25, 3 more than any other player in that time. What say you, Jarrett Smith?
LA keeps it going. They're trying to stay in front of Philadelphia. I think they're able to keep it going here.
Bam's injury report, by the way. Escobar is out with an injury. Hollingshead has a red card. Palacios, yellow card accumulation. Mark Dos Santos is out with a red. He got red carded in the last match. So you won't have one guy on the bench. Palacios, yellow card accumulation. Escobar with an injury, and Hollingshead with a red card. So it might be interesting at the back for LAFC. You might have to rely on Chiellini for more than 75 minutes and have him play a sport other than volleyball. But that's just me.
Yeah, but don't. Ever since I started trusting Minnesota, you should not trust Minnesota. The end.
Correct. 8:30, we got 2 games. Houston hosting the Revs. Houston's a plus 166. Your draw's a plus 258, and the Revs are a plus 149. Shooter is not in the timeline, or at least we haven't seen him comment about anything yet. We would know how he feels by him going in all caps. Normal television, 8:38 kick, local on both sides. New England's won 6 of their last 7 against Houston. The other one was a draw, last losing in March of 2014. Revs have scored at least twice in all 7 of those. 1 of 2 times in the club's MLS history, Houston's conceded multiple goals in 7 straight against a single foe, Minnesota United, from 2020 to the present day. Dynamo ended a run of 13 straight matches, conceding a goal with the scoreless draw with Sporting. Houston has not managed to keep clean sheets in consecutive matches in over 4 years, since doing so in 2018 in July against Minnesota and Colorado. New England, cover your ear, shooter, has dropped an MLS high 29 points from winning positions following the 2-1 loss to Red Bulls. Revs have now dropped as many points from ahead, 29, as they did in all 34 matches last season. Houston's most cautioned team in Major League Soccer, 81 yellows, despite committing just 11.3 fouls per match, 8th fewest in the league. So when they foul, they make it count. MLS record for yellow cards in a single season's 90, set by Colorado in 2018. New England attempted 4 shots in their loss with Red Bulls, the fewest since taking 4 shots against Chicago May of 2019, just before Bruce Arena took over. In fact, a Bruce Arena team has taken fewer shots in an MLS match just once since 2011. The Galaxy with 1 against Kansas City in 2016. What say you, Jarrett Smith? I'm thinking boring goalless draw.
I'm thinking New England gets it done, and Shooter's faith is not restored, but
Okay.
he is just kind of, led along here a little bit longer, which is really cruel, but that is their life in New England.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Last game on the board at 8:30, and I wanted to play something for you that you might have heard before you leave this morning. 8:30, Sporting and DC United. Sporting's a -145. Your draw's a +305. DC United is a +358. Do I need to go any further?
No, you really don't.
So are you saying because it's going
No,
to be a draw or because Sporting's going to win?
because I think Sporting's going to win.
Okay.
Because I think DC's just kind of like, and DC was playing a 15-year-old last time out who did really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's reason for optimism in DC,
Right.
but it's not like, hey, we're going to be good now. No, 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 no. You're going to be good at some point next year. I
Mm-hmm.
think Wayne Rooney will be okay.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen right now.
Right.
You just have to wait. This is
Yeah.
we are creating geodes. Geodes are not created overnight.
Okay. Yeah, I think Sporting gets it done with the offense, especially at home. So that is your midweek whip around, patent pending trademark coming. We got 4 matches to talk about tomorrow. One of them Orlando City and Atlanta. Before you go, do you know the? I want to say it's a British game show called A League of Their Own.
No. Are you going to do the Michael Sheen thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Again, I'm a Wales fan now.
A League of Their Own is a British sports-based comedy panel game, first broadcast on Sky One, now Sky Max, in March of 2010.
How have they not had Gina Davis and Tom Hanks on? I mean, they won't get the joke, but we will, and that's all that matters to me.
Hosted by Ramesh Raghunathan, features Jamie Redknapp as a team captain and Micah Richards as a regular panelist. And so I don't know how many of you guys saw this, but Michael Sheen was one of the guests, and Ramesh gave him this challenge, and it's about 2 minutes long. And if you're not a fan of the Welsh heading into Qatar, you really will be after this. And so this will be yet another test for the audio here for me once this starts to play in the 45 seconds subsequent. So we'll see what happens here. This is Michael Sheen trying to make sure that the Welsh will run through not just a door, but the wall come their time in Qatar in about 2 months.
You must be excited to be playing England in the World Cup this winter.
Oh, yes.
Can I ask you, could you give us a little burst of the sort of rousing speech that you might give the Welsh lads before the game?
Oh, my God. That's a big responsibility.
Yes. Can we have some music, please?
All right. I have to get in the right headspace now. Okay. Amarohid. Amarohid. I hear the voices singing. Speed your journey, boys, boys, back. One nation, singing with one voice. A song of hope, a song of courage, a victory song that floats through the valleys like a red mist, rolls over the mountaintops like crimson thunder. A red storm is coming to the gates of Qatar. It crackles with the spirit of 58 and Jimmy Murphy's boys. It turns the pages of the history books and finds Rob's page, waiting, still to be written. What would you write in there, boys? Dare you write your names on that page? We haven't waited 64 years and come halfway around the world to be troubled by a neighbour from back home. When the English come knocking on our door, let's give them some sugar, boys! Let's give them some Welsh sugar! They've always said we're too small, we're too slow, we're too weak, too full of fear. But Amar O'Heed, you sons of speed, as they fall around us, we are still here! Yeah! Come on, world!
So what'd you think about that?
Again, I'm a Wales fan now. And yes, that is not Michael Sheen from Twilight, Madam. That is Michael Sheen from a lot of different things, but most recently, for me personally, Good Omens. But I'm also a very big Terry Pratchett fan, so that's going to be my go-to for Michael Sheen. It's most recently his work in Good Omens.
You got to go now, don't you?
I got to go now.
All right. So we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Jared Smith hanging out with us. I couldn't resist. I saw that and I had to play it. I legitimately had to play that because that was one of the best. That was one of the best speeches, even though it was on a game show, that we've heard in quite some time. So very, very cool stuff out of Michael Sheen. Pretty much the favorite son and poet laureate of Wales. And it was very, very cool that friends over at Sky put that out there, and it has caught like wildfire. I want to say 2.5 million views, and understandably so. It was a hell of a speech. But oh wow, the audio's cool. Maybe it's, I don't know, but probably somewhere in the sequencing. But it is that time, since we are here toward the top of the hour and a natural transition point. Time to catch up with our friends at Eliminize. So I guess that means I need to do this and get that started. So fade the music up. There we go. That's too loud. Hang on. Still learning my levels here. For odor-free, clean, fresh air, one place you need to go. It's Eliminize service. Eliminize deodorizes enclosed spaces like houses, apartments, and condos. Created a customized solution that eliminizes all organic odors, including those like pet cigarettes and food. Realtors and property managers use Eliminize service to eliminate bad odors to help them sell or rent their homes that much faster. Turnkey process, we like that these days. Makes it easy to work with said realtors and property managers. Kind of the environment, we like that too. Very, very green way of going about things to get rid of odors without any kind of toxic residue whatsoever. Different than Febreze or our favorite masking agents, because when we reach under the sink or reach up into the cupboard and pull out said masking agent and spray it into the air, that's why they call it a masking agent, because all you're doing is masking the odor. You're not attacking the problem all the way down to the molecule like our friends at Eliminize do with their proven scientific formula. Pricing very, very easy, one of two ways, either by the cubic foot or parts per million to come up with a price that's affordable for you, offering results in 24 hours or less. You have any questions, frequently asked or otherwise, one place you need to go. It's the website over my left shoulder for those of you watching on Twitch, eliminize.com. But do us a favor, after the .com, go /Atlanta or /Atlanta or whatever the size the slash is when everything's moving from northeast to southwest. So eliminize.com /Atlanta, ELIMINIZE.com /Atlanta, eliminize.com for odor-free, clean, fresh air. Eliminize service, proud sponsors of everything SDH. Where's my transition? I spoke too much, or I didn't speak enough. There we go. All right, so you fade that out, and we'll head here into the second hour of the show. Get you into your viewing habits, get you into juice boxes, get you into everything else that's going on, and we will look at your thoughts and questions here on Tuesday Thoughts before we go. All right, so we mentioned everything going on in Major League Soccer, so let's take a peek at what is on the viewing schedule. And if you don't have Fanati's, I would recommend that you do. Jason got me hooked. And so for anything that you want to watch out of South America, go to Fanati's, subscribe, fntz.co/soccer down here, and you get some of the best programming out of South America and a lot of the matches that you may not necessarily get the chance to watch in other places by watching them over at Fanati's. Tuesday, you've got college soccer on the ACC network. You've got Champions League that starts at 12:45 on 2 with Sporting and Tottenham. Bayern and Barca, that one's at 3. That's must-see TV. Alajuelense and Alianza, two of our friends out of CONCACAF League, they're playing at 10 o'clock. That one's on 2. Unimas is simulcasting Sporting and Tottenham. Universo has Liga MX with Chivas Guadalajara and Tigres. So Chivas and Tigres at 10 o'clock. Univision has Bayern and Barca simulcast at 3. You've got college men's action from ACC Extra, BTN Plus. Sports and soccer specifically in England are back at it starting today. English League Championship is at 2:55 with Preston North End and Burnley. All the action in Major League Soccer. A lot of the action going on in the colleges, both men's and women's. All the games from Champions League are on Paramount Plus. We'll go through the juice boxes there in just a bit. Long day in the Primera División in Argentina from a Paramount Plus's perspective, starting with Vélez Sarsfield and Central Córdoba at 3:30. Doubleheader at 6, Godoy Cruz and Tigre, Huracán and Barraca Central. doubleheader 8:30, Platense, Union Santa Fe, and Racing Club and Patronato. Peacock has Chivas and Tigres at 10. VIX has Champions League. VIX Plus has Champions League as well. So very, very busy day on the board when it comes to viewing stuff, and that's the official term. So here we go with, yes, and Abby, the Arsenal game did get postponed with PSV because of the thought that they didn't have enough security forces available for it to be a safe environment. So we'll keep an eye on that reschedule as well. So you've got games going on right now, Eastern Europe, and that is going on for a while because it's middle of the afternoon / evening for them. You're going to have games coming up in the Middle East and North Africa, and you have European play. 12:45, here's your juice boxes. Enter a -222 going up against Victoria Pilsen, and they're going to be the team that everyone scores goals against, and it's going to come down to goal difference probably to figure out who's the 1, the 2, and the 3. Your 90-minute draw is a +380. Victoria Pilsen's a +610 at home. Sporting and Spurs on the road a +119. Sporting a +244. Your draw is basically the same. You've got action in the lower divisions in Germany and Sweden, and that gets you through the championship to 245. You got 5 games in the championship starting there. Blackburn, Watford, Huddersfield, Wigan, Hull and Stoke, Middlesbrough, Cardiff, Swansea hosting Sheffield United. FA Trophy in the lower divisions. That one's going on as well. 5 matches there. Premier, the Isthmian League Premier, which is one of the lower level. That one's got a full grid at 245. Everyone's playing in League One. Everyone's playing in League Two. And it looks like everyone's playing in the National League, in the National League North, and the Premier, and the Southern League, all over the place. All of the action is kicking back in, pardon the pun, in England at 245. Champions League, 3 o'clock, Preston and Burnley. Burnley's a +139 on the road at Preston North End. Champions League juice boxes at 3. Liverpool a -179 at home. +384 the 90-minute draw. +438 is Ajax. Bayer Leverkusen a +167 at home. Atletico Madrid pretty much right there as well. And the composite at a +172. Your draws a +239. Bayern a -106 hosting Barca. Barca's a +258. Your draws a +321. Marseille at home, a -110 as Eintracht Frankfurt comes to town. Draws a +274. Eintracht Frankfurt a +308. Porto is a -227 as Bruges comes to town. Bruges is a +638, and your draws a +375. Serie C is at 3 o'clock in Italy. Villa Sarsfield in Central Cordoba has been postponed at 3:30. So we'll keep an eye on that. Baracas Central, a big underdog at Huracan, -217. Godoy Cruz, a +134 on the road. Liga de Expansión is at 6:05 in Mexico. That takes us into the South American action. Major League Soccer, that goes through 8 o'clock. More Liga de Expansión and Liga Profesional de Football in Argentina at 8:30. Platense is a favorite at home against Union de Santa Fe. Racing Club is a -154 as Patronato comes to town. MLS, Liga MX, late night. Chivas is a +198 at home, hosting Tigres, who's a +148. Your draws a +206. And the one CONCACAF League match with our friends at Alianza and Alajuelense. Alajuelense is a big favorite at home in Costa Rica at a -185. Your draws +284. Alianza is a +465. So that is your numbers for all of the juice box activity. Quickly through the other news and notes before we get into your thoughts, and I mean that in the plural sense, so it's y'all's thoughts. Let's see, what do we have? Tierney and Fraser return for Scotland. Kieran Tierney and Newcastle United's Ryan Fraser were called to Scotland for their upcoming Nations League matches. Lucas is going to be out for the Sporting Lisbon-Tottenham match. Let's see. England players have been given time off to watch the Queen's funeral, and that came out from Garrett Southgate today. Everton has signed Eldin Jakupovic with Jordan Pickford out injured. The former Leicester keeper will now be there as a part of all of the activity that Everton has. In the papers, avoiding what we always do, avoiding the 3-letter and the 4-letter, Daily Star, Garrett Southgate will allow his England stars to watch the Queen's funeral with their families instead of joining up at St. George's Park. Marcus Rashford's agent reportedly used interest from PSG to negotiate a better contract for the Manchester United star. Wait, comma, say it ain't so, period. That never happens, ... Luke Shaw bracing himself for World Cup disappointment a little after a year scoring England's goal in the 2020 final. In the Times, the Premier League's expected to push ahead with plans to use semi-automated offside for next season after a successful introduction in the Champions League. Avoiding the 3-letter paper and the 4-letter paper, Daily Express, Chelsea owner Todd Bowley tried to keep Billy Gilmore at the club by warning him that his situation could soon change prior to his deadline day move to Brighton. Liverpool may be about to lose out on signing Barcelona midfielder Gavi, as he could reportedly sign a new contract this week. Daily Mirror, Manchester United reportedly set to extend the contracts of 5 players in the coming months to avoid them leaving for nothing next summer. Cristiano Ronaldo's time, tell me if you've heard this before, could be nearing its end as the 37-year-old starts to explore interest from Saudi Arabian clubs as a serious option. I'll have to keep an eye on that before January. Manchester United reportedly believe that only their own indecisiveness scuppered a blockbuster deal for Frenkie de Jong in the summer, and that the Dutchman would have joined him, despite claims to the contrary. The Athletic Sporting Lisbon boss Ruben Amorim believes former Tottenham winger Marcus Edwards can play for England in the future. And the lead domestic scout at Rangers is left to head the English FA's talent ID program from the U18s up to the senior level. Let's see. Daily Record, British clubs will reportedly not play the Champions League anthem before home games this week due to the mourning period following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. And Daily Telegraph has stuff that has to do with, what sport is that? Rugby. So Scottish son Mark Fotheringham is in talks with the Bundesliga strugglers Bochum to take over as boss and make history, as there's never been a Scottish manager in the German top flight. So that's your look at the papers with what we see going on there. Let's see. Transfer Center, we'll keep an eye on that. Remember, Diego Costa has signed with Wolves because, once again, that was on a free. That could be done outside the window. Loris Karius has completed his move to Newcastle as well. Also, we got, so let's see, Gio joining Everton on loan from Arsenal. The 19-year-old Brazil international moves there after completing a permanent transfer from Barcelona to the Gunners. That one is in the WSL, and they're starting their action today as well. So keep an eye on your favorite teams over there. The Jakupovic deal is a short-term deal from what we understand, a short-term contract. And this is injuries to both Jordan Pickford and Andy Lonergan. So Jakupovic made 4 appearances for Leicester in his 5 years at King Power before leaving in the summer, but he is now there, and he's going to probably be getting the lion's share of the minutes. Rob Page, rewarded for his work as Wales manager with a new 4-year deal, won 41 caps as a defender, took charge in November 2020, and he had the contract until the end of the 22 World Cup, and so now it's a 4-year deal. Everton ready to make a bid for Ferencváros winger Adama Traore, according to Calcio Mercato. 27-year-old winger has scored 5 goals from 5 league appearances since joining the Hungarian club. Let's see. The work permit is apparently checked off, and Diego Costa is joining Wolves till the end of the season. Once again, he left Atletico Mineiro in January, 19 games, 5 goals in the 2021 season before his contract was terminated after only 5 months. The Loris Karius deal for Newcastle, signed as a free agent because his Liverpool contract had expired in the summer. So let's see. Man City signed West Ham midfielder Yui Hasegawa for an undisclosed fee, signing a 3-year deal, and that was also activity for their WSL franchise. Once again, we'll keep an eye on all of the WSL action as well. Thomas Frank was asked about the Brighton opening at his weekly press conference, his early week presser. He shut that down in a hurry. So we'll keep an eye on that once again with activity out for managers as they chase after. It'd be interesting to see what Brighton does. You know, we talked about Ange Postecoglou, and Jared says no, and he waved his finger in the air. So we'll see what happens with that, and we'll go from there. All right, so let's take a look at what you guys want to talk about this morning, because that's what it's all about. It is all about Tuesday thoughts. It'll also be about Thursday thoughts on Thursday, so keep an eye on that as well. Let's see. All right. So Abby heard Mike this morning on 92.9, and I totally agree with him. If we don't get the offensive players scoring, it's a problem. Almada should take PKs if Joseph isn't on the pitch. Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, Tom, whenever I make a reference, you guys can just go ahead and hit me up for it because that's what it's all there for. Yeah, Abby can still win all the rest of our games and still not make the playoffs. And once again, when you got NYC, we talked about NYC. They could lose. They could completely fall through the trap door. And honestly, with NYC, it wouldn't surprise me if they fell through the trap door, to be perfectly honest. So we'll keep an eye on NYC. But no, you just take care of the task in front of you, focus on Orlando, then on to the next. And I know that sounds somewhat simplistic, but with what you're trying to accomplish, you can't worry about the three after that because you're not there yet. Focus on the Orlando game, then focus on Philly. Then go to the international window and cheer on Thiago Almada with his time with Argentina and the Albiceleste. Then you come back and you cheer him against the Revs and you cheer him against NYC on decision day. And so Jarrett, once again, in hour number one, made the point about NYC and decision day. That one's going to be a fun one. So regardless of what it's going to look like. So there's going to be a lot on the line. Let's see. Abby and Shiva go back to getting the striker position set. Ronaldo and Joseph. If Ronaldo and Joseph are not it, we have to get one for next year. That's it. Yeah, you're right on. Twilight Zone music in your head? No, Bam. Post the link if you can in the chat because Bam posted this and I was trying to find it and it wasn't readily available on Twitter. And Bam asks, have you seen the video on Twitter of the Croat lower league game where the fans fire a grenade launcher? No, I have not. And I want to see that. So if Bam, if you're around, post the link and post the link in the Twitch pitch so we can all take a peek at it because then I can take a look at it and be just as stunned as everybody else. So Shiva thinks Joseph will have a chance to come on tomorrow and make a difference. Abby hoping Orlando is tired and screws up and loses. And they very well could be from everything that they've had to do. And they've got the games to make up as well. And so, Orlando will be an interesting case considering what happened with them for the first match after U.S. Open Cup when they got thumped by Philly. And we've always known Oscar Pareja clubs, they've kind of just done the slow fade toward the end of the regular season. So we'll see if they just kind of, it's like, all right, we think we're in and we're cool and we're just going to kind of, and we'll see what happens with Orlando. We'll see what happens there. So, thank you, Ben. Oh, Hooligans TV EU. Okay, cool. We'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, missed having Kratz, definitely. Emilio, ironic that Aruju lifts everything into the stands and on the PK does a grass cutter. Let's see. Why not Dwyer on the PK? Seniority. You're looking at, Dom is not a regular starter. And so Luis / Thiago and whomever else are more of a starter than Dom in that case. And so there is a certain pecking order to it. Dom would be down the list a little bit. So it would be Luis, Thiago, Marcy, that kind of a thing, first and foremost. Abby, Orlando cheated, should not have gotten the U.S. Open Cup trophy. Yeah, and we're supposed to find out. I think that yesterday it came out that the investigation is underway when it comes to who knew what and when and how much did they know and did it impact and all that kind of stuff. I honestly think as much as the trophy should be the trophy should be upheld and continue to be with the previous champ. And let me see if I can point it out. There it is, right there. Actually, let me pull that away. I know that right there. There's the Open Cup. There's the Open Cup scarf right there. So yeah. So I think it'll probably be a fine and a wagging of the finger or something like that, and you might have to, suspend the employee or something like that. I don't anticipate that it will be a whole lot of, rigmarole that's attached to it. But I think you're looking at probably a fine and a wagging of the finger, and we'll see what happens there when it comes to Open Cup. So let's see. Well, Joseph, we talked about Joseph starting Wednesday. Don't really know yet. Don't know if he's in timeout. Don't know if he's going to be benched. But look at it this way, and I know that Nick, you've got some stuff here that you just put into the Twitch pitch. But I would look at it this way: when it comes to what is the best lineup that can get you 3 points against Orlando, and you've got to look at their philosophy. You've got to look at how they plan on attacking and how you have to answer things defensively, and look at it game by game. Who against Orlando gives you the best chance to win? What is that lineup? What does it look like? And if the staff sits there and they say that Joseph is a part of it, then you'll see Joseph, either in the starting lineup /18. So that's just something that they have to look at on a case-by-case basis. And same question for Marcelino Moreno. Marcelino Moreno was not in the lineup was not in the starting lineup on the weekend, but that doesn't mean that he's for like a triple negative here. It doesn't mean that he's not a part of the plan going forward. So just look at each game as a case-by-case basis, and the analysis that's done by the coaching staff to give them the best chance to win against Orlando will be the 18/11 that will be out there. Let's see. Yes, supposed to be back at practice yesterday. Didn't see anything in any kind of the media. Shiva, if I was Pineda, I would start Joseph, tell him to go get one for the team since he wasted their lunch. Kefsi, in a sign that jersey sales do not match performance, Bale is number 1, Joseph is number 5, and Mukhtar isn't loved enough. Those shoes will probably sell better than Driussi jerseys. It makes no sense. Or maybe jersey sales do match lifetime performance. Oh, that'll be another question. What do you guys think of the shoes? I'm not a sneakerhead. I kind of dug them, and I looked at. I think RSL had their version that was out because Brian Dunseth opened up a box and had the RSL version of the shoes, and I think they were pretty close when it came to the paint scheme. But what did you guys think of the shoes when they were released yesterday afternoon? Would you buy them? Would you buy them? That would be the question for me. Bam, more chance of Gerrard going back to Rangers than Ange leaving. Sam, and this goes back to our discussion about Celtic. The man, the myth, the legend, Scott the Monster Brown will come out of retirement if Rodgers came back to Celtic. Kefsi, decision day. I didn't know decision day was your birthday, Kefsi. So you want what Jarrett wants. I know the season did go very, very quickly, but once again, I think you can thank the World Cup, Shiva, for all of that, accelerating everything by a month to 6 weeks. Because we got this World Cup thing coming up, and so a lot of folks are looking at that. Can we get more Brad talk before games? I'm for it. Definitely for it. Brad was there in the suit talking. I mean, that's very cool stuff, and I'm glad that we got to see that kind of stuff behind the scenes. So more Brad talk, yes, please, if it gives you 3 points. Emilia, if Caleb Porter managed us, I'd have a hard time supporting us. Yeah, because Caleb is outspoken in a bunch of different ways, and he can be very curt. He can be very cynical. And he can also be a guy that you really don't want to root for, considering there are all the times where he'll want to shush folks in opposing venues. And yeah, he can be a guy who is hard to root for, or be a guy that you have to root with, unless of course he's your guy. And that would be a question for the folks in Columbus. What do they think of Caleb Porter? And when you're an opposing coach and you go and shush folks, and you're looking at. I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff. That's part of Caleb Porter's DNA. But, that's what you look at when you're looking at for a coach. Let's see. There was the notes. Yeah, Kefsi, the Escobar shock face clip from the last game was familiar and funny. Yes, that's true. Shiva, this is either Philly's year or LAFC's. If either one does not win at all, I don't see them being back to this spot next year. Here are my thoughts on either Philly's year or LAFC, Shiva. I have more of a concern about LAFC. Philly in the postseason, because remember, it's 90 minutes. It's one game, and if you have a coach like Pablo Mastroeni, like what he did last year as a 7 seed and just making life hell for everybody, I could see folks wanting to make life hell for Jim Curtin and Philly for a whole 120 minutes and not thinking twice about it. I have more concerns about LAFC than I do Philadelphia because of all of the rearranging of the deck chairs that John Thorrington did. and looking at it's like, hey, we can bring in guys because we can bring in guys. And I thought that there was more just because I can instead of just because we should, if that makes any sense. Chiellini can't give you any more than 75. You got to manage his minutes. You've managed Bale's minutes already. You've managed both of their minutes already. Bam, I know you mentioned your Mamadou Fall update, and we'll get to that in the timeline when I get to it. But I think that there have been too many rearrangements because you could. And sometimes just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do something. So I have more concerns about LAFC, especially against physical teams. And it's a point that I've made with Nico Moreno on his Thursday episodes where we catch up with each other. I want to see how LAFC responds to a physical team and how Carlos Vela integrates and all this kind of stuff. All the stuff from the past that has prevented LAFC from being a champion still hasn't changed for me. And then you go ahead and you continue to change players to try to sit there and say, ooh, shiny object, Chiellini. Ooh, shiny object, Gareth Bale. What have they honestly, legitimately done? What have they honestly, legitimately done to help LAFC along? Not much. So, I mean, I'm looking more at guys like Chicho Arango who are doing more for LAFC. But you have to integrate all these shiny new toys. And for Steve Cherundolo, it's got to be a hell of a job. And it's got to be a real hard one for him to do, knowing that his GM is like, here, Gareth Bale. Well, does he fit what we're doing? Here, Chiellini. Well, does he fit what we're doing? Can he manage a full 90 minutes? I think the answer to that is no. And it's just, I have more questions about LAFC. I think Philly can be had. Take a team like Red Bulls, and I know everything's going to go through Chester, but if you take a team like Red Bull that just sits there and has the ball's got cooties, I don't want it, and just keep it moving. Just, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it. Just send it away and force Philly to have to work for it. I think it could be a problem for somebody. So we'll see what happens with Philly, but I have far more things that I have concerns about LAFC than I do Philadelphia. Let's see. Tottenham will win today in all caps. Okay, so Sean, incredibly confident as always. Oakley Cannon. Okay, bam. Oakley Cannons versus MacArthur at 5:30 Atlanta AM time. The winner goes to the Australian Cup final. Okay, so now, bam. Let me check juice boxes on that one since you have me curious. Let's see, Australia Cup. Oakley is a plus 354. Your 90-minute draws a plus 323. MacArthur is a minus 164. So there's your juice boxes in the Australia Cup for what we're seeing there at 5:30 in the morning. Mamadou Fall leaving Villarreal to go to Senegal's U23 training camp. That was the Mamadou Fall update. Okay. Where will Barco end up, y'all think? We're just going to take a bath on the 15 million, aren't we? No, you're not going to take a bath on it. But that's the question. Does River want to continue their investment with Ezequiel Barco? And I don't think it's a bath on 15 million. But that's the biggest question comes from River. What does River think about what their investment has been with the Ezequiel Barco? And then you just go from there. Not every transaction is going to be it's going to be incredibly successful. And that's just how the industry works. But you're going to have some that are going to be fine. You're going to have some that are going to be fantastic for you. You're going to have some that aren't going to work out just as well. But I don't think it's a bath on the full 15. But Barco is one of the questions of the off seasons. But we'll find out about that one. Okay, so Bam posted the. Here's the link right there. There's your link for what Bam was showing this morning with the grenade launcher. So now I'm going to go back up a little bit and see if I can, there we go. Okay, so this, and I know this is going to make for fantastic radio, so I apologize ahead of time. So Hooligans TV, Tuesday thoughts, and this is definitely a Tuesday thought. So Hooligans TV with the Plitvice and Sokolac from... Now, is it legitimate? Man, is it legitimately a? But what is he launching out of the grenade launcher? I mean, is it legitimate? Because I don't see what's landing. Is it like flares? And he's got to kind of hold it up too, because it looked like it went straight. Yeah, that's some kind of projectile. Yeah, and he's jacked about it. Okay, man, we're going to go ahead and wander in, and we're going to have a grenade launcher. It's like, excuse me, sir, can you check that at the door? No, this is my pet grenade launcher. It has to come with me. And so, so lower division Croatian soccer, you've got grenade launchers wandering in and just launching things onto the pitch. So, yikes. How about the other Ronaldo for striker next year? Emilio, you don't want that in your locker room. You really don't. It's bad enough that he's there at Manchester United. So, I think Saudi Arabia, that was one of the places I thought that might be like the UAE or Saudi Arabia or something like that, might be a place that could afford Cristiano Ronaldo and not think twice about it and just bring him in. It was one of the thoughts I had in the back of my head. Won't be playing Champions League. I might be playing Asian Champions League, but it won't be like Champions League or anything like that, and playing against the teams that come in for exhibitions and such. But that'll be an interesting question for Cristiano Ronaldo. Hey, do you want to go and play in Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, something like that? That was where I thought he might be going, because just the lack of interest from all of the top 5 or 6 leagues that we were talking about, and just the willingness to take that kind of a paycheck and pay that kind of a paycheck. So I don't know if Cristiano Ronaldo has any other options. Is Pineda not going to talk about Joseph anymore? Saw something he didn't want to talk about him in yesterday's presser, but haven't seen it yet. Seems silly. I haven't seen it either, Nick, so I'm right there with you. I'll have to keep an eye on it. But once again, Gonzalo said after the match that he was only going to discuss the players that were there and that were a part of things. And if a player, regardless of who it is not there at practice, then he's not going to talk about him because he's not a part of the current situation. So that's what Gonzalo Pineda is going to do. That's what he said, and he's going to continue to say that. If he wants to talk about the players who are currently investing, and if one isn't there, regardless of who it is, he's just not going to talk about them. So I understand it. Knicks can't see him playing for us again. We still got a handful of games to go, so we'll see. Let's see. Abby just returned yesterday. You move on. No need for him to be mentioned. Let's see. Joseph gives us a better chance than Cisneros. Emilio, what you got to look at the full 90 minutes and what do the physios think about what Joseph can give you? And it's going to be what's his rate of physical fitness? What can he give you? The surface, the weather, and both offense and defense. So there's a lot of stuff to think about when it comes to the turnaround. And that's the other part of it too, is having played on the weekend with the minutes that Cisneros and Dwyer put up top. What does that look like up top? That's the other question. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's see. Morning Dawn Star. Joseph's scoring history should come into account. But at the same time, Abby, remember, once again, you're looking at health, you're looking at fitness and stuff like that. So yes, he's been successful against Orlando, but we'll see once again. And that's the physios and the coaching staff and everything that leads us up to this particular moment when it comes to any player, frankly, especially when you're having a quick turn. So we'll see. Signing at the store today with Jackson Conway. So Jacko in the shoes. How many of you are going to the signing, and how many of you are going to have Jacko with the shoes? How many of you are going to have Jacko sign your shoes? Abby says lineup starts at 3. Shoes go on sale at 4, and those who buy shoes first get first dibs with Conway, which I think is wrong. Shouldn't have to buy something to get an autograph. Like I said, it's the first I've seen it. There's something like that. If you want a cup set goal, this is Sydney United beating Brisbane Roar, and so Bam has posted that in there from the Australia Cup. So Bam has been very, very busy this morning posting highlights. Very cool. Thank you. Dawn Star, it would be cool to see Barco and Amada play together. That would be interesting. We'll see what happens there. So let's see. Emilio's thought about Barco coming back. Let's see. And so, so Kefsi says, Pineda just said, let's talk about people who played, not that he won't talk about him. Doug didn't know about the remainder. So then Abby and Kefsi talking about the press conference. So that's where we are after today, I want to say. Let me see if there's anything else on the notepad before we go. Let's see. One more thing before we go. 5 o'clock today. I will be over at 7 o'clock today. I'm leaving the house at 5 o'clock. So 7 o'clock tonight, it will be Oglethorpe soccer, and that'll be on at gopetrels.com. So tonight I will be on the call for the women's soccer match with the Stormy Petrels, and so it'll be fun to get my first exposure of the Stormy Petrels play. They're 2-1-1 so far this year. Beat Agnes Scott 6-1 back on September 1st, then lost 4-0 to Brunel, then won 2-0 against Huntington College, had a goalless draw at LaGrange College on the weekend. And so they're turning around and they're playing Oxford Emory at 7 o'clock tonight. And so that will be at gopetrels.com. So Oxford College of Emory University. So Oxford Emory coming over to the campus of Oglethorpe University. And so that'll be a fun one. You noticed that Nick got the chance to call a match the other day as a part of it and call the doubleheader. And Jason, Nick, and I, and a lot of us at SDH are calling the matches this season over at Oglethorpe again. And it's great to catch up with our friends over there. So 7 o'clock tonight, Oxford Emory at Oglethorpe. GoPetrels.com. You can watch it and have live stats. The history between the two clubs. Let's see, Oxford Emory. Let's see what the history is between the two. So of course I go to the third page, and it's too many schools. Let's see. Have they played Oxford Emory? They've played Emory, but they haven't. Looks like they haven't played Oxford Emory in an official match. They played Emory 3 times. They are 0-3-0, and goal difference is pretty large. So 3 times against Emory, and I think this is the first time that they will have played Oxford Emory, even though that it isn't an exhibition. So once again, 7 o'clock on the campus of Oglethorpe University. If you are there, I used to. I still have family that live in Pike Road, Nix, and so I knew exactly where Huntington was, and actually covered a football game there when they were in NAIA or D3, one of the two. So I actually caught a Huntington College game there in Montgomery. So Oglethorpe tonight, 7 o'clock. GoPetrels.com. I'll be on the call for Oglethorpe and Oxford Emory tonight. We'll try to get some. Try to have some. That'll be my first exposure for that. So it'll be fun to get back over there and call action once again for our friends at Oxford Emory. So one more check of the wires and the news and the wires and seeing if there's anything going on. Let's see. Graham Potter looks like he is having or had his press conference, his first presser with Chelsea. It's a completely different challenge than the one that I had. I had 3 fantastic years at Brighton, an amazing football club. Very happy with the ownership here for putting their trust and faith in me. It feels like 9 weeks or 9 months, not 9 days since leaving Brighton. You never know what's around the corner. Things happened quickly after some intense conversations with the owners. I'm not going to lie. It's been a whirlwind. I'm looking forward to starting. So, keeping an eye on Graham Potter. I still don't think that he gets through year 2 of the contract. That's just me. I don't think that he gets through this year and maybe at the end of the next year and maybe starts a third season somewhere and all of that. But, so that'll be an interesting one. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Graham Potter and with Chelsea going forward. So one more time before we go. I apologize for that once again. Trying to take sips on the air. Short of doing something intravenously, it might be a little difficult, but yeah, I will have to do that temporarily every once in a while. But thanks to all y'all for hanging out today. And we'll do it again tomorrow. Dylan Butler hopefully joining us at 10 o'clock, depending on how crazy, silly, weird things are in Major League Soccer. And so Wednesday, Wall Pass Wednesday, anything on your mind, anything on your mind. Could be about chargers for computers and phones and all that kind of stuff. So anything on your mind, that's what Wall Pass Wednesday is all about. And everybody, thanks for all the stuff that you guys do on a daily basis. Thanks for hanging out with me and getting to workshop problems that I probably create unknowingly on a daily basis. And we will do it again tomorrow. So, so Dylan's tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and we will continue to go from there. So for me and for Jarrett and for everybody here at SDH, thanks for hanging out with us once again. Watch the action tonight. in Major League Soccer, see how it impacts the playoff race. Atlanta and Orlando is tomorrow. We'll keep an eye on that one too. Larger preview will be on the board tomorrow as well. Play it safe, everybody. Enjoy your day. And since it's the end of the show, that means I get to do this.